meeting to order at 5:34. Any adjustments to the agenda?
We are going to add the Commons. Oh Mike, why can I not remember your name? I've asked you 4 times.
Barry election.
Barry. We're going to add him to after CS goes, and he wants to just talk about the Commons possibly being our newspaper of record.
Okay, sounds good. Let's see, acceptance of minutes from March 9th.
I will move that we accept the minutes, March 9th.
One second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the minutes of March 9th. If there's no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? None. Unanimous. All right. I think that means you, CS.
Sounds good. Well, I'm CS Wursberger, better known as the Green Up Girl, one with the fun zebra stripe Jeep out there. And first, I'm just really excited to be able to present the project that we're looking at. We have Santa's Land under contract right now, and we're looking at bringing a state-of-the-art rare breed zoological park and conservation center. This is where we'll be focusing on connecting the children, the teens, the adults with these rare breed animals, both in captivity and in the wild. Most people always ask, well, what's a rare breed? Well, just like we've got the endangered elephants and rhinos and orangutans, most people don't realize that we've got a few hundred breeds of livestock and poultry that are also on the endangered list. So it's these animals that we will be both featuring on exhibit, bringing into schools, doing educational programs, and then also preserving and having breeding programs as well. So I've just listed out some of the animals that we'll have on exhibit. One of my favorites is the mulefoot hog, which as you look at the handouts that I have, the mulefoot has less than 200 left in the United States, and we will also be bringing in a breeding trio. The other exciting part with my background in technology is for all of the folks that can't attend in person, let's say we're doing a program on the mulefoot hog, but that person can't get into Putney for that particular day, we'll either be streaming it live, and then we'll also be recording that and making it available in our online library. So again, it just increases our impact, increases the recognition of Putney, and gets more folks excited about saving these animals. Our programs are going to include educational events, which will, again, everything from meeting the animal on location, hearing their stories, and then we're also going to have events where we're bringing in the different breeders, the different folks from all around the country that can also share more information on these animals. So if we're bringing in a Jacob sheep, we'll probably have a whole weekend of spinning and weaving, and then all of the crafts that can be sold to go along with that. There are also going to be school programs, again, both for the kids here in our community, all of our surrounding regions, statewide, and then also worldwide, again, via the internet. And then, of course, day camps for the kids, as well as after-school programs, and then day camps, as far as so many kids, you know, they only have a half day of school or there's an in-service day. We'll also have programs going on which allow the parents to go to work and not have to worry about where the kids are and what they're doing. The other exciting things the park is going to include is a marketplace. As you already know, there's a giant gift shop there now, so we will be expanding that. Again, both in person, and there'll be a full online e-commerce shop as well. The big thing that we're focusing on are the products that have been upcycled, recycled, products that have been repurposed, and then of course tapping into our local market as well. There'll be a conservation classroom, again with all of the technology, where children will be able to watch from around the world. Wilderness walking trails, 42 acres of just, I mean, how many of you have been there either as a kid or through the years? Probably all of us. So we know the potential of hiking and the fun being out back. And then of course a playground for the kids as well. And We've got this really cool igloo building that's got to be turned into something. We're working on that now. We need to poll the community. You know, do folks still want to see a pancake house there? If they do, then it's going to be the Polar Bear Pancake Parlor. If not, again, I know we already have a fabulous cafe here. So we're really looking to speak with the community and also find out what else you folks want that will fit in with a zoological park and conservation center. So why am I qualified? As I've been around town for probably almost 2 months now looking at this property, the first question out of everyone's mind is, are you gonna have animals? What do you know about animals? So that's the first thing I've put in the flyers, and that's the first thing I really want you folks to hear. I have already been a director of a USDA licensed petting zoo up in Maine. I know how to do this. I also know how to provide high quality care, and anyone that you talk to in my personal network will tell you I go over and above when it comes to the animals that I work with. They will have nutritious meals, we will have regular veterinary care. And I've been a corporate member of the AZA, which is the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, for a number of years, and I'm an active member with the Livestock Conservancy. They focus on protecting rare breeds around the US. I also have produced and host their podcast series called Heritage Breeds. So again, all of what I've been doing in my entire career are being morphed into this project. My parents own a family business over in Wilmington. I had my first gift shop when I was 16 years old, and I also started selling penny candy when I was 7 years old. So again, I know how to make our gift shop a success. I've also owned an ice cream parlor and pancake house. I've been in the green marketing world for over 16 years now. I'm excited. I travel the country also presenting workshops, and I have a series of marketing books that are available at Amazon. So here are the community issues that I really want to be part of solving. We know that many of our kids and many of our adults are disconnected from nature, but most importantly, most folks are disengaged from endangered animals. They just don't realize. Again, we hear about the elephants and the orangutans and the rhinos, but we feel so detached, we don't know what to do, so in most cases, we don't do anything at all. This is where I want to make a difference by really bringing in these interactive programs for all of us. We need more jobs in this area. The business plan I've put together shows that we're looking at about 30 plus jobs. That doesn't even include the interns and then all of the high school, college kids that have already started applying, or their parents have already started emailing me, when can you give my kid a job? And I send them the same email. Once our funding is in place, we can talk. And the other thing is, I mean, we all joke, but we have 5 seasons here in Vermont, and when mud seasons hit, we still don't have enough employment. Our focus is to be a 5-season resort. We want to be one of the draws that bring people into Vermont, and I've got the marketing experience in order to do that. So, current condition of the property. Many of you have probably been in, many of you are probably wondering what's happening up there. And most of my family and friends have looked at the pictures and go, are you kidding me? And my response is, I've cleaned up after Flood Irene. We lost an entire building over in Wilmington. I mean, most people, it affected everyone here. Water in buildings over 6 feet high. This is going to be a heck of a lot easier to clean up because we don't have all of the toxic chemicals and water and all of the waste that has gone through. But we're dealing with folks that left this in horrid condition, and I'm showing you the best pictures. So you probably recognize the pancake house, one of the back sheds, The foundation on the gift shop, the whole gift shop is going to have to be lifted up. The foundation is bowing in, massive crack along 2 lines. Again, more treasures, goodies, roofs. So I'm still excited to take this on, even after I've been here numerous times. Even yesterday, we found more issues, and I went, nope, nope, nope. We're under contract, we're still charging forward on this. So this is where I need the town support. This is where I'm going door to door. I'm active on Facebook. I'm so grateful for Maddie from the Reformer. If you didn't see already, she did an amazing article on us that went live last night online, and just, I didn't get to sleep till after 2 in the morning because the comments and just from everyone in my circle and so many people I didn't even know thanks to that article. I've put together flyers here if anyone wants to grab one. We need everyone to come together. It is this simple. I'm not asking for donations and I'm not asking for a handout. What I'm asking for is pre-buy your membership. Pre-buy your field trips. Pre-buy if you're a business and you want to sponsor a building, or you want to sponsor an animal, or you want to have an event at our location. All I'm asking for, and you'll see it on the back of our flyers, if everyone pre-buys, and we've set the goal, it's at $525,000. We need $2 million to completely bring this project back to even beyond the condition that the Brewers had it in. I've got massive work. I'm willing to do it. Like I told Maddie in yesterday's interview, if someone handed me the keys tomorrow, I am ready to hit the ground running. The business plan, everything is in place. If everyone just kicks in $100 for their individual membership, we're good. We're golden and we're ready to hit the ground running. Now we have to be funded by May 1st of this year. So
It's ambitious.
it is very, and all of my friends know, this is the biggest dream of my lifetime. So I really appreciate the time that you all have given me here this evening. Again, the flyer has our Indiegogo crowdfunding website, or of course you Google the Green Up Girl and I'm easy to find, or track me down when you see the zebra striped Jeep. Are there any questions from anyone on what I'm up to, or animal care, or, and also thanks to Josh, who's been working very hard to start patrolling, because we have a lot of folks in town that are using that as a playground right now, and they're repainting the buildings in designs that we really don't want to keep in those designs, so also thank you publicly for that.
Where does the BDCC weigh in?
I'm working with them. They've got me connected up with some of the counselors there. We've also, lending officers, we have, on my behalf, they've also spoken with one of the local banks. Unfortunately, the bank said, ooh, this is a big risk, we're not coming in first. So that's where we all sat down and we said, okay, then let's crowdfund it. Let's get it to the point that the bank is happy and BDCC is then happy, and then we're now working on the loan process to take me to the next level and to bring in the additional funds. But the 525 will get us through the purchase, will get us through massive cleanup, will also get us through a huge portion of the repairs, and then I have everything broken down into phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. The grand opening will be in May of 2017, but anyone that comes in as a founding member before May 1st, we're going to have special programs going on this summer. There'll be behind the scenes tours. I can still do some summer camps for the kids. So there'll still be things going on in a small scale, but the whole giant opening can't be until May 2017. Because I'm going to do it right. You just can't bring someone in with how we're at right now.
And BDCC, does that tap you into Windham County economic development as
Yes,
well?
it does.
It does?
Yes,
Okay.
and their cord, in fact, I was just there yesterday working with R.T. Brown, and he has now connected me up with 2 other folks. And actually Cynthia's done a great job also talking with Adam Renewable to look at what our other options are. So we've got a few different options because we're sitting here in Windham County. And I can guarantee I'm exploring every single option except selling firstborn child. Some days I've threatened that too. Probably shouldn't have that on record in the job setting.
I have a question. How many different types of animals, and what would be the number that you're looking for?
Yep. So in order to make it engaging, we're looking, again, it's in a phased process, but if I can have at least 100 different species when we're opening, and then there is that roll out from there. The biggest piece, honestly, that is going to determine that before May is once I can get in there and physically clean out the stuff and be able to evaluate. Because yesterday when I was there, I was finding more buildings and stuff out back that we hadn't even found before. Now, some that I can't wait to tear down, but some that might be repairable. So, yeah.
100.
In that range, but we're definitely looking at, there will also be rotating exhibits, which is very common
sure.
in the zoological world, where we're always trading with one another, one for an educational standpoint, but also from a genetic pool standpoint. Because if I've got my trio of mulefoot hogs, in a few years, I'm gonna need a different boar to continue to keep going. But yeah, good question.
So I don't know if you want, we are currently, she is putting an application in for the, so this is not a permitted project yet with our local development review board. So, well, you'll be notified, you're a butter, right, Bert?
Yes.
Yeah, so you'll be notified of that hearing, it'll be in April.
Good.
So, and
Just bring a check, right?
Exactly, exactly. Buy your season's pass. No, you can't sneak in the back fence. Yeah, and honestly, that's the last thing I just want to leave everyone with is we're looking for this to be part of the community. You know, I have been actively searching for property like this, and I'm just so excited. I've wanted to do this since I was 7 years old. So if the community's on board, we'll make it happen. If May 1st we don't have the funding, then I'll go onward in a different direction. Well, no, I'm still going to do this somewhere, but so I just want to share
Have you
that.
started a campaign for the donations yet?
Yes,
You have.
Indiegogo went live, let's see, 2 days ago.
Okay.
So we're up to $950.
Okay.
Yep. But many are people I don't know that are contacting me, and again, it's relationship building and getting the process
I
right.
Putney, I Brattleboro, any mailers?
Not yet, that's next on the list. I had to get through a few other hoops with the seller first.
Uh-huh.
And then we're also, Peak Radio over in Keene contacted me this morning, and they're gonna do multiple interviews with me and promotions. I've contacted Fish down in Brattleboro, so again, I'm open to any suggestions. If you all know or can point me in the right direction of places, and especially schools, I've got some great deals there where they can be pre-buying their field trips and saving some really good money. So,
How would one feel comfortable in making an investment like this, knowing that beyond that 525, it's sort of a blue sky project? Is that?
well, indirectly it's not though, because once we have this first 525 funding, that allows me to either have, well, actually, the classes will then be running this summer, okay? And then my initial plan was the gift shop was gonna be open by September to get into the shopping season, both online and in person. Now, after seeing the massive crack, I'm still getting estimates on that, but the igloo is actually in better shape than I expected, so that may be the phase 1 July opening, and then that starts to generate our cash flow. So the program will also start funding itself more, which is gonna make a difference too. Good, well, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, yes.
Is your business plan available, or?
It's not available to the public, but I am glad to sit down. You'll find I'm a very open, transparent person, and I'm glad to share as much information that makes sense.
In your long-range plan, when you get sort of
The
stabilized,
whole dream, yes, which will be about 5 years.
5 years, what is, can you just give a snapshot of the income? Is it, how much is donation, how much is membership, how much is retail sales?
That I don't have for you at this point in time, because so much of it depends upon not only the crowdfunding, but what happens with SBDC, what happens with BDCC and all of that, because that determines is the gift shop going to be the biggest piece. So I'm still working on where all of the revenue pieces are coming from in that full plan. Yeah, there's a lot to put together in this piece, and I've been working on this particular for 2 months now, so. But I'm glad to answer any other questions. Yeah, just feel free to contact me. Good. Well, I'll let you head on with the meeting, and thank you all for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, so next is Barry, is that right?
Yes. So I'm Barry Electric. I'm a founder of the Commons of Vermont Independent Media, and I'm on the board of directors of Vermont Independent Media. And I understand that you made your decision in the last meeting about the newspaper of record. I had intended to be here, but I was misinformed. I thought that it was last week. So in any case, I'd be happy to explain to you all where the Commons is at, and what our plans are, and why we would be honored and privileged to have a role in play a role in your newspaper of record submissions and decision. The Commons, as you know, covers Putney quite a bit. We have plans to cover it more. If you've seen in the paper, we have an extensive expansion plan for the coming year in order to serve the community with the news and views and information that it deserves. That expansion will mean that our town and village section will be considerably larger, and that we expect to have online daily updates of the news in our community. The Commons has dozens of members from Putney. It's a nonprofit, so we have a membership, supporters, memberships, and hundreds of readers, of course. And it's nonprofit and it's locally owned, and we would really appreciate your support. But more than the ideals of supporting a valuable community resource and a nonprofit, there's some practical nuts and bolts here. The Commons now at 10,400 copies each week has a distribution which is, as we understand it, about double of the other newspaper. And the cost, our ad costs from what we know is 25 to 50% less. So for reaching twice as many readers for half the price, plus we have state-of-the-art local personal advertising staff relationships with the people who work with the advertising department. It turns out that there's another significant argument that I heard from another select board last week. I have not confirmed this, but besides twice the readers on any given day of publication of your town notice at 50%, at up to 50% less cost, it seems that the other paper requires an inflexible 3-day lead time for their public notices. I understand that here and in many select boards, the question of the Commons being a weekly is a significant question in making your decision. Our staff is prepared to work directly with each select board and town manager to overcome as much of that challenge as possible. The staff, the advertising staff, again, is local, is right here on Main Street. No, not here on Main Street, but there on Main Street. It is willing to work with you right up to late Tuesday of the day before, Wednesday publication day, to get your text and make sure it works right. And if it's so that the reformer requires an inflexible 3-day lead time, so that eats up nearly half of the disadvantage that a weekly holds over the daily, especially with our commitment to work directly with you all to make this work with proper management on both ends, the town's end and the business end of the Commons. We can make it work for the most part. And the second thing I can suggest what several other select boards have done, not all of them, some of the select boards, including last year, who chose the Commons as newspaper of record, they renewed this year with a comment, "It has worked extraordinarily well, seamlessly, we're very pleased, we'll do it again." And that has happened also this year with new select boards that have simply chosen the Commons outright. Other boards have chosen to call the Commons their newspaper of record, but with the reformer as a backup, In the case where it's absolutely necessary for a special meeting or something like that, where it's necessary for a 48-hour turnaround time, and if the frequency of that scheduling doesn't work for the Commons publication frequency and deadline, then in those cases, then the other paper would be utilized. With that kind of a formula, then of course you would save money for all of your routine submissions, and only in the cases where you have extraordinary circumstances and need to go elsewhere, then the cost would be more for those individual cases. So with all that in mind, as I said, we would be honored and privileged if Putney chose the Commons for its newspaper of record, and I would be happy to clarify or answer any questions that you might have about that.
I guess one, is the Commons thinking of ever expanding the number, to a couple times a week, or it's going to stick with?
Not in the long foreseeable future. We are quite maxed out in what we do now, and I think we do it well. Our current plans for expansion are in order to meet the changing media landscape here, to recognize the changing media landscape, and we recognize that we have a responsibility to meet that challenge. And that's why we've chosen to expand the way we are, which is larger weekly, which we've seen many times already. As you know, it fluctuates from week to week. Sometimes we've had 32-page papers with lots of news in it. But the hybrid that we're putting together is daily online. It is totally infeasible for us and impractical for us to go online. Daily prints. That would be a huge investment, a huge undertaking, and it would not serve us well or you, because it would be a different animal. And who we are, the Commons, as a community weekly, works very well for the Commons production, and I think for the most part for the community. So that was a long answer, but no, we do not intend to increase our frequency for a long time. We've chosen a different way to meet the needs further of our community.
I'll just, go ahead.
And I just to follow up, did you say there is a daily online though?
The plan for this coming year, by the end of this calendar year, is to upgrade our website, to hire a dedicated journalist / webmaster, and that journalist would be responsible for a daily online update, a daily headline and other news, so that people who are linked in online can get their daily news that way, in addition to our other fine resources in town. But it's not there yet. The website is still where it's been lingering for several years, needing improvement even in its current state. We're aggressively looking for community support and funding, individuals and major grants and whatever nonprofit resources. And once we do that, then we're going right into that website upgrade with the correct hire to make it in effect a daily newspaper, but only web, not print.
So this is I just want to give an example of the concern that I have with the whole timing of. So in April, it's mostly notices, like the DRB notices. So in April, our meeting is on the 19th. So we have to have the meeting notice 15 days before. So that puts us, we have to have something in the paper by the 4th. We have to notify them by the 30th. Yeah, that's that 3-day deadline, that hard deadline that you're talking about. That's
not for the Commons.
That's for the reformer.
Okay.
So if we were to switch to the Commons, we would have to have that notification on the 30th in the paper, because the next one's not until this.
Right.
Okay, so then that backs us up. I try to get people to bring in paperwork at least a week prior to when we have to have it notified so that gives me a week to have time to go through everything. And it also gives me a little flexibility if I have somebody that comes in that says, oh, I forgot that, you know, can we fit it on to the April? Then I let them push it out. You know, if it's an easy application, I'll let them give it to me the day we're noticing the paper. So we wouldn't have that flexibility for people that might be kind of trying to get in under the,
Unless, as Barry pointed out, we had the reformer as a backup, and I don't know.
Right.
I don't
I
know,
just-
can you clarify at all the financial implications of this for us?
well, I don't know, what are the legal notification costs for the commons?
In the Commons, it would be $12.50 per column inch, and if I could find my notes here, I believe the reformer, I'm sorry, I don't have it here. Our open rate is $16.50 per column inch. For a committed, like newspaper of record, it would go down to $11 to $12.50 per column inch. My information is that the reformer is $21.50 per column inch. And I do not know if, that is probably their open rate. I don't know if they offer you discounts for being a town or for having a long-term commitment or anything like that. That's why, and I hope I was accurate and fair, that's why I've been saying, from our information, we're at least 25%, maybe up to 50% less. Even without those actual final numbers, I'm very confident that our rates exceed, or are less than what you've been paying now. That it would be a savings on your budget.
I mean, they're clearly less for, I mean, that's the legal notices. If we have anything we want to put in the paper to do with hiring somebody, those are just, that price difference is crazy difference between the commons and the reformer.
And do we have a line? How much do we spend annually on on noticing and?
Oh, I'd have to look,
hires
I
and
don't know
stuff.
the
You don't
answer
know
to that. I
offhand,
mean,
yeah.
the zoning, the cost of the zoning application is meant to cover the cost of that. So we're, you know, yes, we have money for advertising, but we also recoup a lot of that money through. our
Right,
fees.
no,
But
I'm just
yeah,
wondering,
I don't know what our line item is. I don't know. I'd have to look.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
okay.
Oh, I clearly think there would be a savings, yeah, I mean, especially with, like I said, if we have any advertisements for job postings, that kind of thing,
And we have been putting things like that in the Commons
we've been doing it anyway.
anyway, right, as secondary.
Or if we have a story, they are always good about, you know, I have both newspapers cover it.
And if they are our newspaper of record, presumably we are required to notice them, or how does that, like, what's the significance of us calling them our newspaper of record? They're the ones we go to, obviously, but is there any legal, like, is there statutory obligation related to that or not? Do you
Well,
know?
I
mean,
mean, not clearly, I mean, we have to have a newspaper of record so people know where to look for our legal notices and.
So in effect, we are required to, anything that we need to advertise or notice
Would go in our newspaper.
will by requirement go into our
Yeah.
newspaper.
We have been on a regular basis putting in both newspapers.
Right.
Anyways, we don't put a lot in the newspapers as far as advertisements anymore because any of our bid things, they go on the state bid
Right.
website.
Right.
Any job postings,
Usually
we don't
not
get
an issue.
a lot
Yeah.
of feedback from newspaper ads. It's mostly online stuff. So we've cut back on that a little bit anyways. But if we do it, we put it in both anyways.
Do you know, Barry, your online readership size?
No,
Okay.
but even if I knew, I would not call that any claim of ours because our website is not polished. It has not been polished for a long time. That's our next step. The online readership is, there are some people who go there, but I don't know. I don't know if Jeff has the statistics of how many people visit on any given day, on any given week. And maybe I'm underestimating because I'm of the generation, even with, I have
Right
an
on the edge.
anecdote, I wait till I get my paper and I live far from a store. If I don't happen to be in town on Wednesday or Thursday, even with my intimate relationship with the Commons, I don't get to read it till Friday when I am in town, even though it came out Wednesday. And I don't know what, I have access to it because Jeff sends me links even in advance of Wednesday, but I refuse to click on those links. I'm old school. So that's why I might be underestimating what's out there with the people who do read it online. But I don't have the statistics anyway. But that will improve, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Once we have this expansion plan in place, we hope that that website will meet many needs of the community for their news.
That's up to you guys. I mean, I am a little bit concerned with, it's very easy for us to know the timing right now.
Yeah. No, I
And not that
understand.
it's impossible, it
Yeah.
just is maybe another 30-second thought process that I have to, it wouldn't be, I'm not saying one way or the other, whether it should be, I love the Commons, but we still get a significant number of people that say, oh, well, I
One
saw
thing
on the
the last
Reformer
one.
today,
Yeah.
I saw on the,
Yeah.
there are times when there's legal notices. Lisa called me about a legal notice one time from Windham Housing Trust that was in the Reformer to do with the affordable housing, and I didn't even know they had put it in, but it was to do with the grant for that first project
Oh,
they did.
yeah.
So there are other organizations putting legal notices in there that might have, and I think people are used to looking at the legal notices in there. It's, like I said, I put it in both if it's something I think really needs to get out there. The legal notices,
Yeah, and I think, just so you know, Barry, when we made the decision to make the Reformer our paper of record this year, we were very clear that that would be our intention to also include things in the Commons. So I think I would give you our assurance that we are very interested in continuing sort of that relationship with you. I guess maybe we should, I don't think we should necessarily do something right away, but why don't we sit on it till our next meeting, think about it a little bit,
Out of curiosity, things that do most things or everything that go into the Reformer also in the Commons?
not the legal notices.
Not the legal, just
No.
that's the only.
But if
okay.
there's a story or we're going to be having a public meeting, and I call and say, I call both papers and say, can you put something in your paper so that people know the meeting is happening? I think maybe, I don't know if it was the cell tower or the parking lot, I don't know which one it was, but that also is difficult because sometimes I don't remember to do that in a timely fashion, and if I call a Reformer, they might be able to get it in before that meeting happens, where with the comment, but I try, I try to think far enough ahead that, because sometimes even the Reformer can't get the story in before the meeting happens, and I just say, forget it, I was too late. But, I don't wanna say don't do it because it's more work for me, it's really not that much more, it's just a little bit more thought, that's all, but, I do think there's a savings to be had, like I said, we use them anyways.
Right. For the reasons you're talking about knowing that people go to the Reformer, we would probably, if we were to change our paper of record, I would think to a reasonable degree, we would do the same thing of informing the Reformer as well, or
Yeah.
I don't know.
The
The Commons, you guys are the new kids on the block, per se, as far
One
as
thing I
it's
forgot to
concerned.
mention is our distribution in Putney is significant. We have a stack of 200 at the store and a stack of 250 at the co-op and several other locations in between. So, and those stacks are not just willy-nilly. We track them carefully. We don't put down
Yeah.
250 unless we know that the history is in previous months is well over 200 go. So the readership is here. It seems to me if they were told that this is where notices are, they would look through it. But as I said, I don't want to, I'm not here to give a hard sell, just
Yeah.
more to explain who we are
Yeah,
and why we would love your support and would feel honored to be representing Putney as well as the other towns.
good, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just, Barry, I'm just a citizen. I'm just wondering, what is it,
Just.
just a citizen, what does it mean to you to be the paper record? I mean, you say it as,
It
like,
would,
it's.
what it would mean, we have, I'm very gratified after these 10 years that we have a reputation in our county and an importance to the county already. What, as a vehicle for news and views and information, especially in the changing landscape that our county is, the changing media landscape of the county, and, which is matched all around the country. We're very proud of what we've built with the Commons. By being newspaper of record of our select boards, it just adds to our feeling of widespread community support for what we're doing, for this initiative. It's a new and valuable formula for newspapers altogether. It's being watched by media experts around the region as an award-winning nonprofit venture, a way of that journalism has, as you all know, journalism has taken a big hit in the recent decades, and it's changing. And the Commons is being viewed as a possible answer because of its nonprofit and because of its success in our community. So by being newspaper of record in many of our towns, it adds for us a feeling of widespread community support and purpose to our towns. We're a mission-driven organization. We're not not only as a nonprofit, but with the amount of work that each of us are putting into it to keep it alive and keep it afloat. We're not here to make money. We're here as an important resource. This would add to it, not as a money-making thing. Of course, more advertising helps. The more ads in the paper means more papers each week. This week it's a 16-page paper, not a 32 one. It purely reflects the number of ads that are there. We have enough news to make a 28 and 32 page paper. Financial implications are constraining. So the more ads we get, the better paper you all get. But more than that is just a community connection with each of our towns, which is the whole reason why we exist. I hope that answers your question.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Good, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, I appreciate it.
We will consider it.
As you wish.
Give it some thought.
Whatever idea you come up with, I'm sure will be the right answer.
Hopefully so.
Yes.
You can go ahead and pick your stuff up. You don't
That's all
have
right, I don't
Oh, we
wanna
might be
interrupt.
here for a while. Okay.
Yeah, mostly now
That's where my feet tangled in.
just procedure anyway.
I think so, yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to kick you out or anything. I just didn't want you to have
It might be too much excitement.
Good to see what's happening in town.
Appointment to Animal Advisory Board. Wow, that's exciting.
to. So Abby Jacobson,
Yeah.
she contacted me back in the beginning of March that she was interested in learning more about the Animal Advisory Board, and she wanted to volunteer if it was something she was interested in, after she heard my spiel. So she met with me and I explained to her what the role of the Animal Advisory Board was. I did explain to her that right now they're not active, but that doesn't mean that they can't be. It's really gonna be up to who's on that board.
Who do we have right now? It
who
was,
do we have left?
and we had,
Maggie Smith. Honey is not on it.
You might have to do it right there.
I think I have to
she's
be
not
around.
resident. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So, you know, I told her that right now we don't have an animal control officer, so the board may be asked to help a little bit, and not with animal control, but if there's an issue. So she was willing to serve and do whatever it was that we needed. You know, I told her that one of the things I would like the advisory board to do possibly is just start doing some education around licensing animals, dogs. So I would ask that you appoint her to the 3-year term that expires in March of 2018.
Do I hear a
I
motion?
will make a motion that we appoint Abby Jacobson as our representative of the Animal Advisory Board.
All right, I'll second that.
And it's been moved and seconded. If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So,
Send her a congratulations letter.
yes, are you thinking of relocating to Putney?
Actually, I am. Yep.
Animal,
She might be
future
busy.
animal
She might be-
advisory. There's definitely a
But there may-
niche, there's a niche need for animal control around here too.
And they're all
You
rare,
got
they're all
pets.
rare dogs.
But there may be a way to incorporate safe housing in.
that
I've
was
seen
just
other
occurring to me,
communities
yeah.
Mhm.
where the animal control officer did not have what I would consider fair and humane housing.
Yeah.
And where we'll have 42 acres, if there's a way to devote an area where these animals are safe and they're under shelter, and we can definitely explore that.
Okay, well, we wrote that down.
Make note of that. All right then, resolution on renewable energy projects.
So I don't know if you all read this resolution. I sent it out maybe a week ago in an email. It has come to us before, and I just never,
This is from Rutland?
Yeah. and basically, I got a call from Paula Pearsall is her name, and she is, I believe, on the board in Rutland, asking us to consider it. And I don't know if we want to read it so people know what it says, or do we want to, I mean, it's, basically the premise behind it is to resolve that they want the municipalities to have more of a say in the public service board process for locating renewable energy sources within a community. That's the gist of it, I think.
But this is really, it's a non-binding resolution as far as, I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and read it just.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Resolution to increase the input of Vermont municipalities regarding the siting of renewable energy projects and certificate of public good proceedings before the Public Service Board. Whereas the General Assembly has set aggressive goals for the development of renewable energy in Vermont, whereas as a result of these aggressive goals, the number of certificate of public good applications before the Public Service Board has increased substantially. Whereas at best, the current CPG, or Certificate of Public Good process provided by 30 VSA 248 affords a limited and ineffectual role for Vermont municipalities, municipal planning commissions, and town select boards. Regardless of the content, scope, or impact on a proposed renewable energy project or municipality's efforts to say in the project citing, the 248 process and the legal analysis employed by the Public Service Board enabled the Public Service Board to disregard and/or avoid the policies and standards of the very municipality in which the renewable energy project is to be located. By focusing on regional impacts to the exclusion of local municipal impacts, the PSB routinely ignores the input and evidence offered by Vermont municipalities. As a result, the due consideration of municipal viewpoints required by 30 VSA 248B1 has become consideration in name only. Whereas it has become clear that legislative changes are needed to afford Vermont municipalities a greater say in the approval and siting of renewable energy projects. Therefore, it is resolved by the undersigned Vermont municipalities to instruct their state representatives and senators to develop amendments to the statutes that concern the siting and approval of renewable energy projects and to the procedures of the PSB in order to ensure that Vermont municipalities have a more meaningful role in the CPG process and to require compliance with an appropriately developed municipal siting standards. I mean, given that we did not, I can't remember sort of the proper phrasing for it, but given that we didn't weigh in on the cell tower siting.
Thank you.
Thank you. For this very reason, it seems appropriate to me that we would include ourselves in this resolution. I mean, we certainly felt that we didn't have a say, so
Yeah, I mean, I know that her email to me said that 110 towns have also, you know, resolved, like you said, it's non-binding, but it
Yeah.
sends a message, and so.
I'm in favor of it.
No, it sounds, I mean, I think it sounds good too. I guess, is there, just out of curiosity, it says that, that the PSB basically disregards anything that the towns have. And here talking about renewable energy, do we really know that, or?
My understanding is certainly that they listened thoroughly. I think that what's clear is that in the statute, they have the ability to completely disregard it. So, you know, and I'm not 100% sure that that isn't the right thing for them to be able to do in certain circumstances. But, you know, I don't know, it's not like you can put a percentage on how much they have to pay attention to it. So
Right.
I guess my hope would be that any sort of new statute that was issued or something would just
Give a little more.
oomph to it, however, whatever that would look like. And we, you know, by this being as sort of vague as it is, not that it's vague, but, you know, we're just asking them to work on it.
I mean, you don't have to include that sentence though. I mean, because I don't, like Josh said, I have no idea, or you have no idea if they routinely do that. Because we didn't go to the Public Service Board, we actually negotiated the different things with AT&T's lawyer, is basically what ended up happening. So any of the concessions they made or considerations were done during that process with the actual
Sort
company,
of
not with the
outside of
Public
us.
Service
Yeah,
Board.
yeah.
So I don't know either. I'm assuming, you know, some of these communities have run into it with the Public Service Board, and that's why they're saying it. But I mean, you don't have to absolutely adopt it exactly how it's written, or you can. And does that part really, you know, mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
My sense is they probably do ignore it. And
Well,
so,
I think that, I think what I've heard is that they consider it, but often have to disregard it. So I don't think it's so much that they're ignoring it as,
Right.
you know, out of necessity, making a choice to disregard, you know? I mean, you know, we all hopefully realize that the Public Service Board is tasked with a almost impossible task as far as that's concerned. So, I don't know. I mean, I think we could cross that line out. I'm comfortable
Yeah, I
with that.
guess, yeah, I mean, I was just asking the question. I mean, I don't know. You know, are they, obviously can't state a fact because they don't know either, so. It seems like they're stating a fact here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's what I mean, and it seemed, you know,
it may be a fact based on whoever this group was that started this process, something that they actually went through, and they.
right.
Yeah, yeah, and I guess, again, I would question whether, you know, the Public Service Board, ignore is a.
Pretty
well,
strong.
Perhaps not the right choice of
Yeah.
word for this situation, but, yeah, I think we could cross that line out.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, I guess I'm.
The sentiment,
Yeah.
the sentiment is right, but I don't,
Yeah.
I think, you're right, it's sort of an accusation, but I'm not sure there's any way whether you could verify whether it's fact or not.
Right.
So, you know,
The public perception that the PSP routinely ignores the input and evidence.
yeah, no, that's a better way of saying it, definitely. Because I think that's and I think that's certainly how we experienced it, was a sense that it wasn't gonna matter. But, you know, I think we were reassured, and I think I've heard reassurance that the Public Service Board, they really try, you know? I mean, I don't know. Tough.
Well, and it's just like local zoning or anything. Yeah. They hear input sometimes,
Exactly,
but the
yeah.
laws that they have to go by
Right.
don't allow them the leverage to do that. So like
Yeah.
you said, I think this is a message of the law needs to be changed that the Public Service Board looks at to guide them to make decisions.
That more weight needs to be put on.
Yeah,
the
so
commentary, but, which I think was very frustrating here with the AT&T.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would just, I would
They're
cross that
trying to
line
see
out.
Yeah. No,
And
I
just
think
say,
that's-
you know,
I
we
think
agree
that's
with the
right.
rest of the sentiment, but we can't say that we know to ignore what people are saying.
Yeah.
You know, it may feel like it, but it may be that they're not ignoring it, it's just their guidelines don't allow them to,
Right.
Right.
to
Exactly.
consider it more heavily.
No, and I mean, I think just asking them to require compliance with appropriately developed municipal siting standards, you know, the reality is that there are instances in which the CPG, the PSB has to override.
Right.
That's
You
why
know,
this,
I mean, it's an eminent
Legal
domain
process,
issue or
yeah.
whatever, you know, that might not be the proper
Or
term. for it.
variance.
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? Sometimes you gotta do these things, so, but the sentiment, I think, is very accurate, so, yeah, you know, so if we cross that.
PSB routinely ignores the input and evidence. I guess that's the only, like I say, that's the only problem that kind of bothers me.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Alleviate the
Yeah.
perception that the PSB routinely.
Yeah, we
Or
could, yeah,
even
no,
avoid the word routinely, you know, on occasion. can be seen to,
potentially,
right?
or, yeah.
Something along those lines.
Appears to,
Right. This is like a meeting of lawyers here.
That's scary.
Get
I
this
would just
wording
cross the
right.
whole thing out.
Yeah, so they make more in an hour than
I
they
would-
make in a year.
Yeah, you guys aren't charging us $400 an hour. Why can't you just cross it out completely?
Yeah.
And just say,
Okay.
because it talks about disregard or avoid the
Yeah,
policies and
it's
standards.
opinion, it's
And then
not-
it says, as a result, the due consideration of municipal viewpoints required has been become consideration in name only.
yep.
I mean, I'm not really sure why they even had to put,
It's an opinion,
It's-
that's an
Yeah,
opinion.
it's an opinion.
Right,
Yeah.
it's offerings.
So
and it
that
may be the
whole line
opinion
just
based on
goes
what they've
away.
been through, I don't know. But
Right.
that is not the experience we've had, but we
Mhm.
totally agree with the sentiment
Yeah.
that we should have more
Yeah,
Yeah.
weight
More
when it
input,
comes
more
to.
weight in there.
so, I would entertain a motion to approve this resolution having removed the sentence by focusing on regional impacts to the exclusion of local municipal impacts. The PSB routinely ignores the input and evidence offered by Vermont municipalities.
So moved.
Is that
She would like
fair?
to
Yeah,
read
yeah,
it.
that sounds good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll second that. Yeah.
I'm not gonna read it again. Somebody else wants to. Josh, you wanna turn? It's been moved and seconded to adopt the amended non-binding resolution to increase the input of Vermont municipalities to the PSB. If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Are you here for a specific reason? Okay, so
He's just enjoying being part of our little town.
learns about it. There's a lot to learn here. It's good.
He's
Fire-
gonna become a select board member in Vernon.
No.
That's where you live, right?
You live in
Yes.
Vernon?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, somebody said to me the other day they thought you lived in Massachusetts, and I said, no, I'm pretty sure you're
Well,
in
you know,
Vernon.
Vernon.
Close enough.
Depends on which side of Vernon. All right, fire chief truck, purchase on state contract.
So Tom came to me a couple weeks ago. He was starting to look for a truck for himself after it was voted on at town meeting, and he asked me if we ever purchased anything on the state contract, because he found out that the state did a bidding process for vehicles, and he felt that the price that was on the state contract was good.
Good.
Yeah. So I told him that I needed information on their bidding policy to make sure that it was in line with our bidding policy. I've checked with Vermont Leagues of Cities and Towns to make sure, that I was sure it was kosher to get on this contract, but and that's what they advised me up there, was just make sure that it aligns with your own bidding policy, and actually theirs is way more
I'm sure.
tough than ours is
Yeah.
anyways. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that that was the route that we were going to take, to see if you had any concerns with doing that. There is a possibility that the local dealerships did not bid on this state contract. I mean, we've been buying from, Brattleboro, Springfield, just because that state bidding process is so extensive, and then there is not a guarantee that they will end up with anybody buying off of that. So some of the dealerships don't even put in information. So it was first to tell you that that is a process we are entertaining for this truck purchase. And are you guys okay with that, or should we also ask the few local ones that we have gone to before? I mean, everybody has the opportunity on the state bidding.
They do.
Everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
it's on the state bid website. They send it out. He said he has a list of 61
I'm sure he
dealerships
does,
that he
yeah.
actually sends an invitation
Yeah,
to. And,
yeah.
so there's no exclusion. It's just that he said sometimes there's not a ton of competition because it's an extensive process for the dealership to get the information to them.
Right.
So probably a larger dealership is gonna
Yeah.
have the wherewithal.
The one that Tom found, and the one that the dealership that won that is in Burlington.
And
And these are all within Vermont? In other words,
In the
the
state
process
contract?
doesn't go.
I would
State.
assume that it would be open to anybody because it's on the
That's-
state
yeah, that's-
website, but the one that got it was in Burlington.
is he concerned about maintenance on
No,
the
because
vehicle
it's a GM's, I mean, it's something that he can get locally.
done
maintained,
anywhere.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like we probably buy enough vehicles to have that strong a relationship with a local dealer that our business makes a huge difference, I wouldn't think.
I mean, the
if
local
we're-
dealership's gonna get the service,
Right.
which is probably
Yeah.
where they make most
Money
of their
anyways,
money.
yeah,
Make it-
yeah. no,
So,
no,
I was comfortable with it, but, I just wanted to make sure we put it out there so everybody.
Do you, I mean, do you have a sense of whether it's sort of significant savings or not, or we'd have to put it out to
He
bid?
felt
in
like
order
it
to-
was, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's huge, but he
Yeah.
felt like it was,
Shakes a little bit off.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like you said, we haven't really asked anybody else, so.
I know we've talked about this issue before with something, I can't remember what.
I mean, it does save us money on, well, we don't advertise in the paper for these anymore because it's just, nobody looks at the
Yeah,
paper for
yeah.
that, so, but it saved him a significant amount of time on putting together.
Because he doesn't have to run around and, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so,
I guess
something's
Just-
going on.
I know what's going on in the crowd over there.
the peanut gallery.
Jordan.
After the representation.
So,
And even if it comes from out of state, it's still Vermont registration's paid on it, so it's not
yeah,
like we're losing, yeah, so.
I don't, it doesn't bother me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's-
We don't need a vote on it, I just wanted to make sure that. Just in talking about that, Tom did, he's been calling vendors and different, just looking for, competitive prices on everything. And he has found out, which I need to check out a little bit more, that there are bid, state contracts in New Hampshire and Massachusetts that, different organizations in Vermont are jumping on those bids for different supplies, that kind of stuff. And the reason that a Vermont town can jump on one of those other state contract is because when they send their contract out for bid, a bid with the contract, it says you have to sell to any New England town. So that's part of, so if they send it to a vendor that sells jackets and they say, this is a state bid, we will buy from you, but you also have to offer that pricing to any state in New England.
Huh.
Which I didn't know that. So,
And what kind of purchases?
the one that
might
he was
that-
looking for was, outfitting, fire gear, kind of stuff.
The one that jumps into my mind, and I don't know whether this would be anything for us or not, but heating oil and diesel.
Yeah,
We're close to New Hampshire and Massachusetts,
Yeah.
and not that I don't want to chase our business out of state, but if we legally
can do
can
it.
get somebody to offer us that price,
Yeah.
that would be worth exploring when we're revisiting that one.
So, that was just an aside that we got talking about today.
Yeah. All right, local emergency operation plan.
So every year we have to update the local emergency operation plan with new names, titles, who's the chairman of the board, so that's there, he didn't point out anything else in here that, changed other than contacts so he just needs a motion to accept the plan as presented this year with the updates of the names, and I will sign it. I did give you each a copy just for you to have so that you can read up on it. What your role is gonna be in the event of an emergency. But this is just an annual update.
So where do you, oh, it's in the back, yeah, I see, yeah.
Is this kind of a priority list? Is it listed in priority to it as far as the types of persons that might need to be contacted first? And
Well,
if
it
there's a
depends on what it's
tree
for.
or-
So I think if we go to page 6, it talks about who or what agency will be likely to lead for each type of disaster.
Gotcha.
So on there it names the agency, so you can see like,
Oh, okay, yep.
Where's this, page 6?
page 6.
Planning task, planning task.
So the
force.
town select board, apparently you guys have nothing that you need to do
Stay out of the
in the
way.
event of an
Approved.
emergency.
Civil unrest.
Most everything starts with Tom
Tom or.
in the event of an emergency, yeah. Or a road crew.
My understanding, Steve, the big picture of this is what we would be called upon to do in a very unusual situation would be to allow spending of funds that
Yeah.
wouldn't otherwise be spent.
My primary role would be to, it would be public relations, talking to the media, that kind of thing. And, like when we had the fire just recently at Putney, paper wasn't a huge emergency, but, we opened the town hall, Tom called me, I came down at 5:30, we opened the town hall and let the guys come in.
Mhm.
So those are the kinds of things that I'm not involved in it a lot either,
Right.
but,
Okay.
but yeah, spending money,
That would be the main one,
yeah.
if we had to. Motion to adopt it or approve it?
So I will make a motion that we adopt the local emergency operation plan as presented for 2006. Is that for 1 year, for 2006?
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. As long as there's no further discussion, we'll vote to approve the local emergency operation plan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Liquor license application.
Yeah, I didn't put that in there, so I'll just list them. Basketville, Putney Village Pizza. The Gleanery has 2 licenses in here, one for inside, one for outside consumption. JD's, both, the first liquor is called, it's just inside, and then they have an outside consumption. The general store, Katie's, and the Putney Co-op. The only entity on here that owes us any money is Neil's property, the Village Pizza.
But it's not the Village Pizza
Right,
that owes
it's
us
Neil.
money, it's the
Yeah.
owner of the property,
Yeah,
right? That's the
so-
same one we run into every
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't have a huge concern about
Is it a
that.
big number or not?
Well, you know, a couple $1,000s, so it's not small, but Neil always,
It's the same discussion,
Catches
we-
up.
I mean, we've had this discussion.
Is,
Yeah.
is he behind in yearly payments or not? Or is this just for 1 year?
1 year,
Oh, okay.
yeah. One of them is the 3rd installment of taxes and then the utilities. That might be a little more.
Right, that's, yes.
But,
Utilities just
but
this year?
it's punishing Erhan for
Yeah.
Neil's, I mean, you know, it would be a way to squeeze Neil to
Yeah,
squeeze Erhan, but that's
yeah. But we'll
an
get,
unfortunate way to go about it.
Yeah.
we'll get in touch with Neil and he'll be fine. He'll be
Yeah.
good on it,
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about it, but we can.
So those were, I'm not sure we had everybody, there might be some other ones we ask at a later date, I think.
And we don't need to sign?
Yeah, you need to sign all 9 of them.
Oh, you have, oh, okay.
Yeah, I have them
thought-
here, I
see.
just didn't make copies.
I see, yeah.
The next stage, the day, how did that work again? Didn't they do something?
Did they have a one-time thing?
If they had a
Was it
one-time
time-
thing, then, did somebody come in and serve? Or was
I
it?
can't remember, we didn't they sign
Yes,
something?
because
for
that's
that?
They,
what-
yeah, they would have, it
It
was
was
probably
Landmark
an
came for
event.
an event.
Landmark has,
Right.
yeah.
Probably an
Oh,
event
that's right,
like
that's
this,
right, okay,
yeah, or
that's right,
whatever
that's
it's
right,
called,
that's right,
yeah, a
okay.
one-time, yeah.
For an alumni.
But some of those, I think, that have outside licenses, is that outside as in on a porch
I
or
think so,
outside
yeah.
as
It's-
in?
It's on the
'cause-
porch.
Like catering.
Exactly, because I think you have to have,
It's a separate
I think
license if you're
Right.
doing a catering
Catering is a
event.
specific, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
This is for them to be able to be, like the Gleanery probably has,
Bring your
you
glass
know,
of
on their
wine out.
porch.
Right,
Yeah.
just so they can serve, yeah. Right. Anybody moving it?
Oh,
I will certainly move we accept the annual liquor license applications for a total of, do we want to list them?
9.
9.
And we can
And
list them.
just list the individual.
second,
Moved and seconded. All in favor of approving the annual liquor license applications if there's no further discussion?
aye.
Aye.
Okay, so when you go through these,
We have to sign more than one place.
there's 9, and it's under the approved column, because I think last time we missed a couple.
Did we?
Yeah. So, make sure you sign every individual one.
Where's that stamp?
Yeah. Okay, and in the meantime, shall we
Sure.
move on to the library?
Is the library the next one? Oh, yeah, I don't
Yes.
have any of that.
You don't have anything?
No, I do. I just didn't have a piece of paper to tell me about it. So, Randy Smith and Emily came to me, this week at some point, and we are having a discussion about library maintenance. And the question came up with them is if they had a major project. The furnace failed, the roof, it didn't fail, if the furnace fails.
This is, yeah.
If
okay.
the roof needs to be replaced or fixed or something, that a leak in a roof, they were wanting to be sure that it was clear that that is a town building. And would, those types of things would be covered under our town maintenance capital plan. We are working on coming up with some type of policy that sets a threshold. So anything that is under $10,000, you know, the front door needs to be replaced, the air conditioning needs, whatever it is. If it's under 10,000, then that's part of their regular operating repairs. If it's over that, then it becomes,
We already own that building.
yes.
Yeah,
And I
so we-
think that,
we
I
insure
think
it,
part
we
of
own
the,
it.
I think part of the, I don't wanna say confusion, but part of the concern was that it was so long ago all that happened, they wanted to make sure everybody really remembered
Remembered
it's a
that.
town building.
Yeah.
So really what that conversation did was make me realize that we need to have a better capital plan
Yeah.
for our buildings. Because,
Absolutely.
and I think Randy probably thought we had that, because, and I said to him, you know, really, I'm getting confused in this discussion because what you're asking for is not something we have for all of our other buildings.
Right.
So, we'll be working on that. I'm gonna start, you know, having a building plan,
An overall
an overall
roof
building plan.
replacement at 25 years.
Right, just like our equipment
right,
plan,
exactly.
it's just, and include the library on that list.
Yeah.
Come up with this threshold number for them to know that maintenance, they just didn't want it to come along that something happens and we say, well, you have a bunch of money when,
Why don't you do it?
yeah, and I think, I never really thought that I would do that, or we would do that, it just.
I mean, did they?
It was just clarifying it.
They have in their budget a line item for maintenance,
Yes.
right? Do they have a capital plan line item at all?
No,
Okay.
because we're in the process of working out the details of the, they have a significant amount of money, but most of it was endowment money that was given to them for a specific purpose. And so we're in the process of working that all out. But like I said to Randy, if your furnace failed tomorrow, we don't have the money.
Yeah.
We don't have the money sitting around, you know,
Yeah.
but, so I think more what it did was just make us, it made me realize that we need to, because I said to him, we do it as it comes, and that's not the best solution, you know, but I said to them, if you know next year that you might have a problem with something coming up, then during budget time, you need to tell
Right,
us so
so
that
that
we
we can
can
look at it
budget
and,
in,
yeah.
yeah. It may be something outside of your operating budget that you're presenting to us, but we need to know that to budget for that next year. So, I mean, it is a little bit of, and what I tried to explain to them was it's a harder setup because the town does not vote on their budget.
Right.
You know, so,
We vote on the number.
right,
Yeah.
so I just wanna make sure that whatever we do as far as capital spending for the library, that it's clear. You know, where
That
that
it's sort of
money, is it
separate
general fund,
from
is
its
it,
budget,
yeah.
Right, well,
So-
it's a town building, I mean, I think
Yeah.
we make that, you know,
Yeah.
just clarify that status and therefore
Yeah,
cover it. with
I think
the-
that was the biggest concern, was making sure that, and I said to him, it is, I mean, it's on
Right.
our insurance.
Yeah, yeah.
When the library was built, it was very clear that it was a town building,
Yeah.
so. Okay, that was it. We'll come back to, there'll probably be a policy or something, I don't know if something we have to approve or if they're going to approve that,
Randy will put something together, I'm sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that's difficult with our buildings is that, given the nature of, you know, a slate roof on this and a metal roof on the highway department, and, you know, it's a little bit hard to come up with a concrete plan
Yeah.
for life expectancies on stuff like
Yeah.
that, and to have that. But a good example being painting this place. I mean,
Yeah.
rest assured, one way or the other, we're gonna be painting this place once every, you know, 7 to 10 years, so, you know.
One of the things that we kind of chuckled about was, you know, I said to him, I said, listen, when the library comes to me or the fire department comes to me and talks about maintenance on their building, you know, we kind of look around and think, you know
yeah,
what?
exactly.
We're kind of living have been a little
You
bit.
got some money for that.
And that's what I
basic
said to him. I said, we did ask for some money and hopefully we'll get some of that done. I said, but it's kind of a funny relationship because we're like, well, what do you mean you need air conditioning? We live without air conditioning every day, you know, so it's just kind of a, it's like, you know, there might not be a lot of sympathy sometimes, but
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
try to get you. And Emily's like, well, you should get it. I said, I know, sometimes it's not that easy.
Few things this year,
Yeah.
that'll be good.
We'll get it.
All right, certificate of compliance, town road and bridge standards. This is just our annual.
It's your annual, we have not changed anything. Excuse me. We have not changed anything with our road and bridge standards, it's just saying that yes, we certify that we adopted them, to meet the requirements.
Was this when they expanded the size of the culverts and all that
Yeah.
stuff? Right, okay.
Yeah, we shifted one a couple years ago on East Putney Brook Road, because it was not quite right, but usually it's just sort of updated regularly.
And it's certifying that we have a updated, highway network inventory, which talks about our roads and bridges, and we did that, so. You have to approve this, or adopt this, or approve this certificate of compliance, I guess is.
So moved.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor of approving the certificate of compliance for town road and bridge standards?
Aye.
Aye. I will just bring out ever so briefly, I see in our
Oh, yeah.
collection here what represents a long time coming is this report from the Willson Wetland Preserve. I will commend my fellow members of that committee for providing a lot of information. It's a very interesting document about all of it, and I would encourage you to look at it, read it, and come back with any commentary. It's a lot of information and very helpful.
Good.
Scott, will the select board be being asked to approve this plan, or no?
I think not necessarily moved or any way. I mean, we
Okay.
can accept the report, but I would think we give everybody a chance to
Yeah, to read,
to
yeah,
read
that's,
it, and then we can accept it.
I'm just
Formally,
wondering if I
guess.
should put it on the agenda next time.
For a formal
for-
acceptance
yeah.
of the report. I mean, it's
Seems reasonable. I mean, is it working with other agencies or anything in order to comply with anything, or this is a
it's more
self-governing?
it's more resources, people that would be involved in different circumstances. I mean, obviously, the situation a year and a half ago with the bridge,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
we had a number of agencies involved. And
I read it pretty extensively when I was first given the first draft, and there were some things that Anne and I and Mary tweaked, because there were some things they were saying the town manager would do, and I was like, what are you asking me to do?
consistently tried to,
But we were,
to
we
tone that
all
in-
worked
in
together
time,
and
and
came
it's-
up with some language that worked for everybody, but.
Right. As I say, it's primarily just information, and it's very helpful in that. Just the
Yeah, there are some action
yeah.
items in there to do, and
tried to tone that as recommendations, and that it's
yeah,
opinion, not.
there's a lot of information in there.
Yeah, this looks great. Cool. Yeah, so why don't we?
So we will
Put it
put-
on the agenda for next time.
Okay,
for
and we do have a
adoption.
copy of it on the website?
I don't think there is.
Okay, so we'll put a copy of
Put
it
it
on the
website,
website, yeah,
Good,
for people to look at.
good. All right.
All put together.
Dump truck bid update.
I just wanted you guys to know that we sent out the bid, requests for the new dump truck, that will be delivered after July 1st. We sent it, we did not advertise it, we sent it to 3 or 4 different, places, and we will be looking at the bids. They are due back April 1st, so it'll be at the next meeting that we'll I'll have Brian come and present what he wants for, because they have to put the order in, because if he doesn't, we get moved down that list,
Right,
and the delivery
yeah.
date gets, pushed.
Does he have a sort of needed delivery date or just desired? I mean,
He's been told by me that he can't have it delivered until after August when we collect taxes.
there you go.
So,
Sounds good.
yeah. The parking inventory that was done, that you guys have looked at the map, I just wanted to know, I would like to schedule a community meeting to talk about this parking inventory, get feedback on it. You know, just start that discussion of parking in the village and what are we going to do? Because this is gonna translate into planning commission working with the zoning bylaws to see if there's gonna be any changes
Yeah.
to our parking requirements. This is something that we've been talking about for the last 6 months, so I picked an arbitrary date of, like in May 12th, which was, and I think it should be separate from a select board meeting, just,
Because then we might get people who actually come.
yeah, cause, you know, it'll be one thing we're talking about, we
We
can
don't want to scare
concentrate
people
on
off.
it. Yeah, yeah.
No, and it's
So-
probably important to just you know, I mean, the most interested parties are mostly business.
Yeah, and try to get a letter out to everybody,
Exactly.
yeah, so
Yeah,
that they
of
know
course.
that it's going on
Just to
and,
thoroughly talk to our connections at, you know, the local paper.
yeah. Is that date, do you guys have any conflicts that you think of? I mean, vacations or?
What is?
May
well,
12th is a
May-
Thursday.
It's a long way away.
I know it is, but I was thinking vacations.
Vacations in April.
Yeah.
Vacations.
I don't know.
Yeah, we're vacationing in April, right,
Yeah.
Right, 18th through 22nd, so as far as I
Okay.
know, it's,
yeah.
We'll start with that if something changes, but that's
Yeah.
just an arbitrary, I just kind of looked at the calendar a couple months out and said, okay, so I will do that. I think that the budget report is on the copier. So I'll get that to you guys before you leave. I did not even have a chance to look at it today after
It's nothing surprising.
I don't think so. I mean, I think the one thing, just that you guys are aware of, the lister's office obviously is spending a lot, you know, the new listers are spending a lot of time in there. They are taking advantage of all of the training that has been available, which, you know, they come to me every time and ask. And I've told them that I will find some money, you know, there's a couple line items, like the town hall maintenance stuff that we might just spend some of that money and transfer it over to the lister's budget, but.
And if they go to trainings, are they getting paid their hourly wage as well as we
Yeah.
pay for the training?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I assumed, I just.
Yeah. So that is the only area that, I mean, the highway, we're looking pretty good in the highway.
Yeah, no kidding, well, there, take some money from them.
Yeah, well, you know, the problem is that we're splitting them off this year, so,
well, before we split them off.
Yes, quick.
yeah. We're thinking probably most of that would be taken by that Hickory Ridge Road project, but,
Yeah, no, it's pretty shocking. I mean, I've never seen Tavern Hill even close to the good condition that it's in. I mean,
Yeah.
it's amazing, bizarre.
Oh, no, not seasonal person. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
there are some really rough spots out there, but they're taking,
Not many,
yeah,
though.
not
Not
many.
many, I'm.
And,
Yeah.
and there,
Haven't been-
it's already drying, I mean, like Tavern Hill is
I've been down
always
Pine
late.
Banks or Pine Banks Road yet.
Drying out.
Yeah, but,
Amazing.
And I think
Was that
Robbie
Old
Rabb,
Brook Road
I
or
think
Brook-
he,
They've
Great.
been doing
graded
some
it,
grading,
yeah,
definitely.
cause Brian said Pine Banks Road was one of the worst.
Yeah, Pine
And-
Banks.
but-
Shit,
Well,
well,
it always is,
Yeah.
it always is, that's,
But,
the-
they were out there with a grader the other
barometer
day,
of-
yeah.
And this rain coming is gonna take the rest of the frost out.
It'll
You know,
sell things right out,
So-
probably, yeah.
So, other than that, the budget is pretty, I mean, everybody else really watches the
What we
budget
expect.
pretty close.
Yeah. Good.
But I will give you a copy of that so that you can read it tonight.
oh, I was,
Before you leave, but it's on the top here.
I was looking forward to that right
Yeah.
before bedtime.
Anita handed me a note to let you guys know that they are buying some new shelving for the vault, so we are going to be taking some money out of the restoration fund to pay for that. That's around $2,800. So that will be, you'll see that on the warrant probably next time. I got something from Vermont Local Roads the other day, and they're talking about a, what are they calling this? National Public Works Week, which is May 15th to the 21st. So I am thinking about that week doing a couple of days of letting the public know they can go to the treatment plant. Just, kind of thank the people that are, the guys are gonna they're gonna shake their heads at me for doing it. But you know what? It's nice to get a thank you once in a while and
Yeah.
recognition,
Yeah.
and it's
And
a
they're not
statewide.
likely to get a whole lot of people, but.
Yeah, but we can recognize them, so I'll try to think of some things to do that week too.
And when did you say that is?
May 15th to the 21st. And that reminded me, there is a day, I don't know when it is, but I'm taking a tour of, I asked Chris Hayes from Simon's Operation to start taking me out and just give me a water and
Orientation.
sewer for dummies tour, because I want to know where everything is, and I've been to the treatment plant, that whole thing I've been, but I haven't been down there for a while. So when I schedule that, if
I'd like
you
to
guys
know.
want to go,
Yeah,
I will let you know.
absolutely. Yeah.
I'm gonna have them take me all over town,
Yeah.
where are all the pump stations, because it'll help start
Yeah.
with that,
Yeah.
other thing. I wanted him to do it soon, so it'll be in the next couple weeks.
Sounds good.
Okay. And, warrants. I'm done with mine.
Spiel.
You guys have your signs messed up. You're Scott and Steve.
Yeah.
I'll have to read.
You didn't write those names down, did you?
I know.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
have to read through the meeting.
Remind me what Deborah Rucker is.
Same initials.
US Bank.
Oh, the bond.
It's the main bond.
While you guys are signing those, I'll just kind of run through the old business a little bit, the three things I wanted to talk about. One of them is that it's spring, and we are going to start, I'm sure, hearing about the tire pile on Route 5 again. I know people,
Went by and looked at that the other day.
I don't know what we're gonna do. I mean,
Do we
there's,
have the power to just clean that up?
well, that's what I'm wondering.
I mean,
Is
can we
if we
just
wanna take the
have-
next, because the state
Right.
isn't taking any action.
They aren't, because I think that was the
No.
Right,
question.
I mean, I don't
Would
think
they
we're
give
gonna
us
break
any
anybody's
money?
heart if we just,
No.
right.
No,
We could
the,
probably get a volunteer
I was
day
gonna
together.
say.
yeah,
Support.
the
That would
two
be-
property owners have been notified of that this is an issue that people have brought, and they're not, one property owner that was one of the Clement, is that his name? He just passed away.
Yeah.
So, and then the other property owner, I didn't even hear from when I sent the letter, so, it's just not gonna get taken care of on its own. It's
Right.
gotta be something I think we coordinate
So
to
we
take
should
care of.
find,
I haven't had any of those.
Sorry.
Put them all that way, then I'll take them.
yeah, but-
I guess the only thing I have to say is I'm not sure who's gonna coordinate this. I don't know how much time I have to coordinate a cleanup of a, I don't know where to even start. If it's, we just get the word out, or,
yeah, I'll do a drive-by and then we can talk about
Okay.
it. Because, the main thing would be where we
where do we take
Put
it?
on.
Yeah.
And we might be able to, but like Tire Warehouse, for example, and
Yeah.
this could be a good
Or
gig for them.
How about does WSMD, take?
No,
this,
I
all
don't,
right.
well, they,
I
yeah,
mean, we do a
that's a good question.
specialty,
A municipal
pick up,
special, yeah.
right, or
I can
extraordinary
call them
things,
and talk to them about
Just
it.
say,
We need 2 dumpsters
Right,
down there,
we need
or
a
6
dumpster,
dumpsters, or whatever it is,
Just get it set up for.
possibility.
If if we're filling them up with nothing but tires, and it's, a sufficient specialty, they can.
Yeah, no, because I know, operations like Tire Warehouse, they actually you know, they might be able to park a trailer over there and we fill it up.
All right, so you go, take a
yeah.
drive by
Yeah,
and see.
How do you remember how many were estimated?
Oh,
It's a
there's-
lot.
I
I
would,
mean, it's
I would put it up
several
around
hundred.
400, you know,
Yeah.
somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bad
Because there's more
location,
that's,
too.
more that are out
We're
of
gonna
sight.
need equipment.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. I mean, to
There's
drag
no
them up,
boat
you need
there.
like a backhoe or something. I'm not sure how you do it.
The excavator with a thumb.
Well, you could do that if you had dumpsters,
Right.
if you
Yeah,
were trying
just
to load a
dumpsters.
trailer or involve
Yeah.
volunteers. I mean, I guess it's a question of whether we wanna sort of manually clean it up or whether we wanna spring to
Just get
get
it
an
done right
excavator in there and be
done.
done with it.
Because there's, I mean, some of them.
There's
there is
probably gonna be a little
ivy,
bit of a
like
cleanup
growing
involved
from
after you-
parts of
Poison
it.
ivy?
Well, I'm not sure if it's poison ivy, but.
Well, and it's just buried under.
I know,
just-
no,
yeah.
that's what, you
Yeah.
have to have the hoe there pawing, but
Yeah.
Right, it's just gonna be,
I'll
as
do
soon
a
as the
little
bucket
bit,
brush
you
comes
drive
up, it's gonna
by
be
and let me know what you
difficult.
think, and I'll do a little bit of calling about it too.
okay. And there's two of them, sort of, isn't there?
Yeah, I just,
Yes.
I mean, I just don't wanna keep pursuing the state avenue, or, I think it's just never gonna
Yeah,
get done unless
yeah.
we just.
Right, I think we just have to find
Yeah.
a way to just do it.
Yeah.
Cynthia doesn't need air conditioning.
We just stop every day and pick up a couple
Yeah,
of
happy
tires.
door.
You've got room in the van.
I'll come on the road at Dumberson.
Well, the worst part is the air conditioners we do have for this building, we're down in the basement where the
Oh,
water
they're
is filled,
trashed,
yeah.
oh, bummer.
Wyndham Wood Heat, they actually got in touch with me, they were gonna have information for this meeting. They didn't get it to me, so, there's a reason, and
Right.
they contacted me and told me they just need a little more time, so it'll be ready for next meeting. And then the property on, off of South of Heinrichs, Taylor Road, whatever you wanna say, the property we own. I talked to a real estate agent today, they were gonna give me, they think the number we have on the books is a little high. So she was gonna do some comparables with the information I gave her, and she said that if you have to list it, she would be happy to list it for us at a reduced it just, if, especially if we had a buyer.
And it's totally land, but, so we don't have, nobody's interested in it.
Oh, I have somebody really interested in it.
The neighbor, right?
Yeah, but the one thing I need to find out is if we
Do
have
we
to list it.
oh, I see what you're
Yeah.
saying. Yeah.
If we don't, then, she'll just be happy to give us what she thinks the value is and
Yeah.
just let us on our way. I mean, she's a lister it's Jackie Atwood, she's a lister in Westminster
Yeah.
and, she's really sweet.
Was there, I don't remember, was there any kind of access
Yes.
easement on it?
There's a
Yeah,
right-
through
there's
Taylor
a
Road.
right-
Oh, okay.
right.
Yeah, but there's no road there right now,
Right,
kind of
there's
ends.
It's landlocked
It's landlocked
with a right of
existing
way or
right of
whatever
way.
it is, yeah.
The people that own the property abutting
In
it
front
are extremely interested in
Right.
it, depending on what the price is, so. Which would be the best option
Sure,
probably
that's a
for,
good solution.
Make it back into a bigger lot again, yeah.
Mhm.
so I'm working on that. I wanted to talk about the next meeting, which is April 6th. I could come, but that's my 25th wedding anniversary. I'm not sure we're really gonna be doing anything, but I don't know if I wanna be here.
What is the gift for that? Isn't that select board meeting?
I don't know.
Yeah.
What is the gift for 25 years? Oh, I
Some
got
good
it for
advice.
Christmas, so. Is it really done?
25?
Wow.
But a silver.
So I don't
Diamonds,
know,
right?
Diamond.
I don't know what we have that's like pressing, if we wanna change the date, or if we wanna try to go out till the 20th. It's up
Just,
to you guys.
we're like all diamonds in the
I mean, you
rough.
guys can meet without me.
We could do, well, it's up to you. I mean,
Whatever, good.
I
Why don't
won't be
I
here
s-
on the 20th.
Okay, why don't I see what we have, and if it's just
We
stuff
could
that you
also
can.
do it Tuesday or Thursday,
Yeah.
or, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, if you're not here on the 20th, maybe we can do it the week
The 13th?
after you and before you.
Just switch it to the
The
13th.
13th?
Oh, that's fine with me.
Because then we kind of cover both.
Yeah.
Alright. You're so smart, Steve.
Well,
We don't have
I
anything
think I just scheduled
pressing
something
right
else for the
now.
13th, but I think it was, I'm hoping it was during the day.
Oh, sure, you changed it to that day and you can't even make it.
No,
Yeah, exactly.
no, this gets me out of the other thing. No, I
Okay,
can't
so let's
remember
change it
what
to
was
the
now.
12th.
That'll confuse us. We'll all be sitting here on the 7th going, what's going on?
If something happens that we look at the calendar and that doesn't work, well, I'll just be in touch and then
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
notify
No, I'm
the
pretty
paper and
sure,
stuff.
I'm pretty sure it works.
I'd have to look at my calendar for the 13th. And would request that we have an executive session for a legal issue.
Which we're not likely to
No,
have any.
one of it is, we can say, is Trans-Canada. There's a couple of legal issues, but one of them is just giving you an update on
Just an update.
Trans-Canada appeal.
Okay.
I will make a motion that we go into executive session.
7:13.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We will not be taking any action.
Where is that time?
It's on,
Where's the one